Christopher Law behind the glass with 3 for Madness. Question 1.
As expected, the Wizards are reportedly looking to trade Kyle Kuzma. Why does this trade make perfect sense for Sacramento?
Why does this trade make perfect sense for Sacramento? Well, they need a reliable second scorer. And with Kyle Kuzma at 6'9", you now have kind of 2 swings, if you will, in Keegan Murray and Kuzma. You could throw Kuzma at the power forward and put Keegan at the 3, or vice versa. You could throw Kuzma at the 3, move Keegan down. Either way, you're going to have 2 fairly versatile scorers. Kuzma is 28 years old. He'll be 29 in July. 22 points, 6.5 boards, 4 assists, shooting 46% from the field last year on a terrible Wizards team. Mid-30s from the behind the arc. Makes about 2.5 per game, if memory serves me correctly. This would give the Kings an incredibly reliable second scorer to help Fox out. Moves Domantas Sabonis to what he should be, which is the 3rd scorer, especially if they lose Malik Monk. It's going to add a little firepower to that starting lineup. We're also talking contract as well. Kuzma's on a Ken Catanella special, a descending contract. He's locked up for 3 more years at 23.5, 21.5, and then 19.5. Now, context is everything. If I'm Monty McNair, I offer the number 13 pick in the draft and Harrison Barnes, the salaries work, for Kyle Kuzma. So you're effectively switching out Kuzma for Barnes and that number 13 pick. I would be comfortable offering that. And if they want anything beyond that, unless it's, no offense, but Alex Len or somebody on the deep bench, if they want anything beyond that, then thank you, no thank you. But in this case, it adds more firepower for the Kings. And on a relatively cheap situation where you're basically just swapping out Barnes and Kuzma, and you still have whatever money you have left and future picks to do with what you will. Question 2.
Question 2.
As expected, the Wizards are reportedly looking to trade Kyle Kuzma. Why does this make no sense for Sacramento?
Did you have to double take that to make sure I didn't write the same question twice? I'm just curious.
That and the Sacramento.
Did I say Sacramento? I thought you just meant Steve Sachs, bro. Former Dodger. Yes, I spelled Sacramento with an X. Sacramento. So obviously, setting this up, I'm not here to advocate for it. I'm actually kind of really split on this. I do think the Kings need another reliable shooter. And God forbid, if assuming Herter's on the team next year, if he's able to come back and regain that shot, it's a whole new world, especially if you have a guy like Kuzma. You're talking about adding a 22-point scorer who, by the way, is most likely going to get a little bit more efficient and a little bit better when you're on a team where you're not the number 1 option, where you're not having to rely on Jordan Poole to set you up, where you're not the one getting double teamed and schemed for, when you're at best the second option. It's going to be like a breath of fresh air for a guy like Kyle Kuzma coming from the Wizards to a team like Sacramento and a city like Sacramento. So I do expect that there would be a little bit of a bump, and we'd actually get a little bit of a better version of Kyle Kuzma. That being said, I don't like the fact that there were reports out there that he chose to kind of stay with the Wizards, a terrible team, rather than come to Sacramento last year. The Kings have been kicking the tires on Kyle Kuzma for about 4 years now and almost got him had the Lakers not swooped in on the Russell Westbrook trade. And again, defense, I think, has to be the number 1 priority for this team. Now, this isn't the move, as I often will say, is this a championship team if they make this move? Because they can only do moves on the periphery. That's not the case here. The salaries, you're just basically subbing out Barnes for Kuzma. You're going to get better offensively, but Kuzma's not the defender that Barnes is. Not that Barnes is a lockdown, but Barnes is generally taking the toughest assignment every night and in many cases holding his own. That's not going to be the case with Kuzma. You're going to need more help, which would probably lean you towards a Keon Clark start at number 2, or Clark, dang it, I need to stop doing that. Keon Ellis start at number 2 if Kuzma were to come in, especially if Monk was gone. If Monk were to stay and you were to go Fox, Monk, Kuzma, Keegan, Domas, you're going to have just a ridiculous offensive team, and you're going to be able to bring defense off the floor in the backcourt with Mitchell and Ellis. But your defense overall is going to fall. It's an interesting thought exercise. I know Kuzma doesn't knock the doors down here, but bottom line is he's a 28-year-old, 22-point-a-game scorer who is on a descending, very attractive contract. Number 3, please.
Question 3.